So I've got a long list of things to get done. I've got chicken thawed in the fridge to can. I've got tomatoes that need to be canned. Green peppers that need to be picked and dried. But we have something more important than all of that stuff to do.
Dry marshmallows.
Yeah.
And eat them.
That's right. We're going to try dehydrating marshmallows.
I'm just taking marshmallows out and eating them.
So we're going to get these in the dehydrator.
Imagine trying to do these. Imagine trying to do s'mores using these tiny marshmallows.
That would be quite interesting.
Because you just put it in for 1 second, it'll be on fire.
That's true. Well, you could probably do it if you put them in the microwave or the oven. So you could put your cracker, and then you could put your chocolate.
And then a bunch of tiny marshmallows.
Yeah, and then put it in the oven or the microwave and toast them.
Is that good? I think that's probably good, right?
That probably is.
Like that.
Okay, all set. I'll turn it on. Wonder how long it's going to take. You have
I
any
wonder
idea?
what it's going to smell like.
Probably going to make the house smell delicious. We'll be hungry.
Then I'll eat everything in the house. Because I'm so hungry.
You do that anyway. We saw Farmer Meemaw talk about doing this the other day, and we've wanted to try it ever since. If you haven't checked out her channel, she is so hilarious. I just love watching her channel. Be sure and check her channel out if you haven't already.
I put it in noodle. There's the 1, 2, 3, and the 4's right here, and then the 5.
Good deal. So today I am preparing my tomatoes to go into the freezer again. I had really planned on canning them today, but some things came up and I don't have time to do that today because instead I need to can my chicken. What happened was over the weekend I decided that I would try to can chicken on Monday, so I think it was probably, I can't remember, I think Friday or Saturday I put the chicken in the fridge to thaw. Okay. Well, then on Sunday, I thought, well, if I can't get my chicken canned on Monday, then on Tuesday, I can can tomatoes. So I went out on Sunday and I picked tomatoes. I usually like to let them set for a couple of days before I can them, just to let them go ahead and ripen a little bit. So I thought that'd be perfect. I'd pick them Sunday, I'd be able to can them Tuesday. Well, Monday came along and I got to looking at my jar supply. See, I don't have enough storage space in our house, so I store my jars and stuff like that over at my mom's. And I hadn't really been paying a whole lot of attention as I would get the jars out of the supply. I would just grab what I needed and go. So anyway, I was assuming that I would have enough jars to can my chicken. And I went over there and I discovered that we were like super low on empty jars. So I was thinking, great. I thought about running to town and getting some jars, but then I was kind of like, well, I don't really want to spend the money on that. And so I got to looking over in, I have like a cabinet in my mom's house where I store all my canned goods because, like I said, I don't have a lot of room over here. And so I went over there and I opened that cabinet up and I got to looking, and there was just a ton of food in there that I had canned from previous years that we hadn't used. I got to looking at it. Some of it was like 3 and 4 years old. And so I decided, well, we ought to just throw that stuff out and wash up the jars. That way I have jars to do canning with. So that's what I did yesterday. Instead of canning chicken, I went through and I cleaned out a whole bunch of jars. And so that's kind of set me back. And anyway, that got me to thinking. I remember when I first started homesteading, I felt like I had to can everything we grew to preserve it because I didn't want it to go to waste and all of that. So that first year I canned and I canned and I canned, which was great because we had a whole stockpile of food. It was wonderful. In fact, we ate really well that year, for that year and a couple of years after. But I didn't really give any thought to what we would realistically eat versus what I had actually canned. And so I canned a whole lot more than we ate. And so there was just a lot of waste there. I think that's a pretty common and easy mistake for someone who's new at homesteading to make, because when you have a lot of produce coming in, you want to just get it canned so it doesn't go to waste. And then also throughout the summertime, there's a lot of good deals on produce and stuff, and so you buy it and can it, and then you just end up with way more than you really need. So back to cleaning out the jars. I could not believe how many jars of stuff that I had in there that I needed to throw out. I actually got 100 jars out of there. Now, that wasn't all just from the first year. It was a combination of like probably maybe 3 years or 4 years worth of stuff. And so, I mean, really that's not bad, because if you average it out, that was only like 25 extra jars of food a year that I overcanned. So when you look at it that way, that's not that much, but all in one shot to have to throw out, that was a lot of food to throw out. Not only did I feel like I wasted a lot of time canning that all up and not using it, it was a huge waste of time cleaning all them jars out too, because if I didn't have to clean all them jars out yesterday, I would have gotten my chicken canned, and then I'd be canning my tomatoes today. One piece of advice I have for anybody new starting out in homesteading is to be sure and really stop and sit down and think about how much your family will consume, and try to store food according to that. And canning's not the only thing that I've done that I've overshot how much we'd use. I like to buy bulk things, and through the summertime and into fall, I will stock up on flour and sugar and, you know, all of the basic pantry stuff. And there's been a few times where I've overbought and had a lot. I don't think I ever really had too much go to waste or anything because I had it in the freezer, but it was just a lot to get used up. Oh, I forgot to add to that, tomorrow I'm going to be gone running errands most of the day, so that's why I'm not going to be able to get the tomatoes canned tomorrow, and that's why I am freezing them. So I thought I'd tell you some of the things that I am doing to try to prevent being so wasteful this year. One of the things that I am doing this year is, instead of canning a whole variety of different types of tomato products, like pasta sauce, spaghetti sauce, chili tomatoes, and all of those type of things, I am canning just plain tomatoes and plain tomato sauce, and then I'm going to season it according to what I need. That way it can be used in any form, and it's not just stuck to one specific thing it can be used for. And so I think that's going to help a lot. Another thing that I'm doing is I'm focusing on the things that we use the most of. Like, for example, one year I grew a bunch of okra and it produced like crazy, so I just had okra coming out my ears. So I froze a bunch of it, and then I made a ton of pickled okra. Well, there's only so much pickled okra that we can eat. We love the stuff, but when you have like a whole bunch of it, it gets kind of old fast. This year I didn't even grow okra because I find it kind of hard to keep up with on picking it and all of that. But if I were to do okra again, I would just keep in mind exactly how much pickled okra that we would probably eat. And then once I got that amount, I just wouldn't can anymore. I'd give it away or sell it or do something. Same way with making jam. The first year I got on this jam kick, there was a really good buy on strawberries, and so I got a whole flat of them. And then I made all of them into jam. And I got to looking at that jam, and I'm just like, well, I don't think that's going to be enough jam to last us for the whole year. So I went and got another flat of strawberries, and I made those into jam. Well, after it all was all said and done, I had 2 cases of strawberry jam. And then the peaches came along. And so I bought a whole flat of peaches. And I canned them up. And I ended up canning up 2 cases of peach jam. Well, we only went through maybe 1 jar a month. So all we needed to last for the year would be maybe 12 to 14 or maybe 15 jars altogether of jam. And I had 48 jars. I mean, that's just a whole lot of jam. And, you know, really, since we don't eat jam all that often, it's almost more economical and smarter for me just to find somebody that makes jam and sells it and just buy it from them rather than try to make my own jam. Since we don't eat that much jam, it makes it not that big of a deal just to buy it when we need it. Over the weekend, I tried canning some dried beans, and that worked great. That is one of the easiest things to can. So if you haven't tried that yet, you need to try it. I was going to make a video of it, but I had a lot of interruptions while I was canning them, and we had things going on, so I didn't. But I'm hoping to can another batch of them again sometime before winter hits, and whenever I do, I'll make a video of it. But it was super easy, and they turned out really nice. Now I'm trying to control myself and not can too many of those dried beans because I don't want to end up like I did with everything else when we first started and wind up canning more than we'll eat. I do think I could probably easily can 1 more batch of them and have just the right amount. Well, I'm going to hurry up and finish getting these things ready for the freezer, which I'm almost done. And then once I do that, I'm going to start in on canning chicken. It's already mid-afternoon, so it's going to be a long afternoon and evening. Canning chicken isn't really that hard, but it's just a long processing time. So it'll probably last well into the evening. I have to laugh because this morning I woke up super early and I was super tired. And see, yesterday Brooke was off, and she was wanting me to play a game with her last night. And so we hurried up and we did a quick, simple supper, and then we hurried up and did chores and all of that. But then a TV show came on that we wanted to watch, so we got kind of involved with that. And anyway, I got really, really tired while I was watching it, and I kept dozing off. And I finally had to go to bed. And anyway, I woke up really early this morning, and so before Brooke left for work, she told me to be sure and lay down and take a nap today, so that way I can stay up late tonight and play a game with her. But I have so much stuff that I don't think I'm going to have time for a nap. I'll still try to work in a game with her, though. Well, I guess I will go for now, so I can get these in the freezer and get the chicken canned and all of that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.